Dang it. Now I gotta get all this adhesive off. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna be installing a dash cam on our 2017 LX570. What I'm going to be installing is this Viofo 4K A229 Pro 3-channel kit. In this video, I'm going to get through the main unit installation, and we're going to be using a wiring kit off of Amazon, like most things I buy. And it's going to plug right into one of the connectors back behind this little plastic cover, and that way it's going to be hardwired for the installation. And we won't have to run any wires along the pillar and down to the OBD2 port or anything else like that to get power to it. That harness, the little plug and play harness, is going to get the camera powered, and that'll get it to where it's a super simple installation. So if you didn't want to do a 3-channel, if you don't want a rear and an interior camera, this video is the one for you. For the memory card, I'm using a Samsung Pro Endurance 256 gig. Make sure you get an appropriate SD card for your dash cam. Not every SD card will last. A lot of them will fail pretty quickly. You need one specifically designed for video surveillance cameras because it's going to get written to many times over and over again and rewritten over. And it also needs to be able to hold up to the heat. So there's specific ones. This is the one I used. Again, link will be down in the description. First thing you want to do is take your mirror and tilt it downwards. That way you'll get access to this area here. Now, this little square panel right here, you want to lift it. So it's got a tab that goes down there, a tab that goes down there, and then tabs that go that way. So you want to put your finger behind it here and pull towards yourself. There you go. Now lift it upwards. Yep, there you go, outwards. You see those 2 pins right there? You don't want to break those, so don't pull out from the bottom. This is what the back of it looks like. Right there. And these are the 2 pins that go in at the top. Now we want to get this cover off, and this is really simple. So you want to push this cover downwards. Let me zoom out. So you want to push it down along the windshield, that direction. So I'm going to try to do it with one hand here. Oh, easy. That's it. And those are the 2 clips right there. That one and that one. And then these 2 guides that you're pushing down to release. So now, this is what we've got behind here. There we go. That's a better view. So there's the mirror. On this side, we've got this little connector. And then we've got this connector on this side. Here's the connector I purchased off Amazon. I think Dongar is the other brand that a lot of people use, but there's a ton of them on Amazon. They're all basically the same thing. One side of this goes to the factory connector. The other side goes to the factory connector. And then you've got this USB port where you can get power from for your camera. There's also some that have 2 USB outlets. Or even an auxiliary one that just has a black and a red wire in case you have other devices that are going to be up in the front of your vehicle that you want to power from that as well to get hardwire power from. As always, links will be down in the description for all this stuff, including the camera kit I'm using. Depending on the options that your vehicle came with, your connectors may look different. You may have 1, you may have 2, you may have more. My particular vehicle has the buttons for home link for your garage door opener, has the auto dimming mirror, and this vehicle also has the rain sensor and the radar cruise control. I'm not sure what all these different connectors and devices do, but those are the options that this car came with. Now what you want to do is take one of the connectors off the dongle and see if it matches with this one or matches with this one. Pretty easy to tell. Here, matches with that one. So what I'm going to do is unplug that, plug this into it, then take that plug and plug it into this one. That way it continues to function as normal, and then we're going to have our USB connector that we'll use to power the dash cam. If you've never done this before, word of advice, do not pull by the wires. There's always a chance you're going to pull them out of the little holes. Push the clip in, that's the clip right there, and then either with your finger, grab the plastic section of the connector and pull it out, or if you want to use a small flathead screwdriver, that's fine too, but absolutely do not pull on the wires. All right, we got that one out, let's plug this guy in. Now we're going to plug the factory connector into the other side. Now the hardest part of these installs, even when you're using one of these plug and play hardware kits, is where to tuck all of these connectors in so that you can get the cover back on. For now, I've slid this one right in here. If you can see, it's between the stock and the mirror and this little clip. I think it'll be okay just based on the shape of the back of this cover. It doesn't look like there's any obstructions there, and I think it'll be all right, but we might have to move it later on. For now, I've just got this USB piece hanging right there. The only one I'm going to be messing with right now is main camera. You know, I've never seen this unit in person, and I was kind of worried from all the advertising photos that it might be too big, but this thing is tiny. You can see the size of my hand. I'm not a gigantic person. I'm about 6 foot tall. It's very small. I was worried this is just going to be a huge eyesore. Hopefully it's not. We'll see. I'll try to position it to where at least the passenger doesn't see it. And I've seen a lot of these installs where people put them on that side, but I'm going to put it on this side. So it's in my view, and I can see the screen, push the buttons, but it's not necessarily an eyesore for the passenger. Now, I'm not going to be needing the wire that came with the actual dash cam to power it, because in our kit, the wiring kit, it came with some nice little short ones, 3 different ones, USB-C, micro, and mini USB. And there's going to be a USB-C for this camera, so we'll have the cable we need in these, and I'll just keep the one that came with the camera as a spare. So here's where I'm going to put mine. I've got the mirror kind of positioned back into where it would normally be. I'm going to put it up here as high as I can with the camera right there still below the dot matrix. Just like that. And from my view, it's going to be approximately right there. So I can see it a little bit. I can look at the screen because there's a screen on here if I need to push the buttons or do anything. It's going to be high and up out of the way. Got that all clean with the alcohol. Make sure you take a couple more wipes at it and get all the residue off. Next thing you want to do is get one of these, which Viofo in the instructions calls a static film. I did email Viofo support to make sure that it's okay for that static film to stick to this dot matrix, because there's a bunch of bumps. It's not smooth glass. And everything I've read, it's supposed to be on smooth glass. They said, yes, you can stick it to this. So, wish me luck. Hard to see, but the film is on there. You see the little green piece right here. So I'm gonna trace the edge of it with my finger. So it comes down right here and then goes across. And then a bit of it is, you can kind of see it in the video, is right there. I guess I don't really have to use my phone app because this shows everything on the screen. So we'll just use this guy and I'll show you how it goes. Make sure you remember the camera's adjustable as well, depending on the angle of your windshield and where you're mounting it. So you'll want to play with that and get the angle just right to give you a good view. I almost forgot, put this cover back on. So slip this cover back on temporarily. That way you can position it knowing where this cover is going to be, because otherwise you may end up putting it too far over and having to do all this over again. So let me show you. So you see it, I can see the dot matrix at the top right corner. So I'm going to move it down, right about there. That seems like the best position to put it. And as you can see, I've got it right up against that guy, but just enough space in there to wiggle that cover around in case I need to remove or install it again. So don't butt it all the way up against that black cover. Leave a little bit of room there. Next thing you've got to do is remove the film on this static thing. So you've got to grab this green tab, or the green writing on the white tab, and you've got to remove that. Again, be careful not to get any of your greasy fingers on it. And then remove the adhesive cover on the 3M pad. Well, there it is. Push it on, wiggle it around, make sure the adhesive makes good contact on the back. Okay, lesson learned. Learn from my mistakes. The static film came right off of the dot matrix as soon as I started wiggling some things around. So will it work on glass? Yes. Dot matrix, just use the adhesive straight onto the dot matrix. Dang it, now I gotta get all this adhesive off. Good thing it came with a second one. There's the adhesive on the static film. Ugh, now I gotta clean all this junk up. Let me go spend a few minutes doing that. I'll be right back. All right, I'm about ready to give this another shot with just the adhesive directly on the matrix. One other thing I was struggling with is where to hide this thing and all the wires. So I had it right here, and you can see that's a big old open spot. And then when I put this cover on, you saw straight into there, and all you saw was that big ugly white connector. So instead, I routed it up here, and the USB connector, it's hard to see, it's right there. USB wire is coming up out over the top of it. And I've got it coming out the side right here, the USB cable itself. Let's see if this cover will go on and hide all that stuff. Remember, there's two little legs at the bottom. You gotta get those all the way in. There it is. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, if I look really super close, I can see a wire in there. You'll see it. It's the USB wire coming out, and if you look real close, you can see those in the back, but from back here, you can't really tell. There's the focus. All right, yeah, that looks fine. I wish this was an angled connector on this side that came with the kit. I might order one off of Amazon myself separately to where I got USB-A on that side and a little angled USB-C. That way it goes straight that direction instead of sticking up like this at the top of the camera. But I'll deal with that later. I'll put a link down into the description of the wire I ended up ordering after this video was shot, so that you guys can order it yourself for much cleaner installation. Now, let me get to the camera. So here we go. That is the final installation. Sitting in the back seat, you see the bottom of the camera poking out right there, but you can't really see it. And from the passenger side, you definitely won't be able to see it. It's just from the driver's view right here. It's where my head is, that big giant head. I can see it. But it's not in the way, it doesn't block your visibility. Most of it's up in the dot matrix part of the windshield. So overall, pretty happy. I'll do a follow-up video with the inward facing camera installation and the one, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna put the one on that faces inside the car. Maybe, maybe not. Primarily, the rear view camera is the one I wanna get installed. But overall, this is really not bad at all. Installation was a complete breeze with that dongle, the adapter, so that it's got power directly from the wires that are already back there. Installation came out pretty clean. You really can't see any of it. The biggest part of it is this guy, and there's definitely other cameras that are smaller than this one. So if you wanted something even more hidden and not visible, there's a whole bunch of them that don't have screens on them, that are not this bulky. There's a bunch of them that are just the camera and their little cylinder that are easier to mount in a hidden spot, like down here where my toll sticker is right there. But there's a lot of options out there. Overall, installation of this thing was a breeze with the dongle. The camera itself, I've done a bunch of research. I think this is the one for me. I hope this video was helpful for you. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and the like to support the channel. In the meantime, love you guys. See you next time. The thing I just noticed is that I couldn't get to the memory card slot on the side with how closely I had it mounted to the plastic trim piece. So I removed the trim piece, and now I've got access to be able to put that memory card in there. Once I get it in there, then I'll put the trim piece back on.